All right, let's welcome Jacqueline Moffett. She's the Executive Director of Homes for Black Children, the oldest adoption agency here in the city of Detroit. Am I correct?
The most successful.
The most successful.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
Certainly read the story, the issue over your adoption agency. Before I get into what led the state to want to pull your license, I want you to take us on a brief historical excursion here about how you were set up and how it all came about.
Okay. We were one of 4 agencies that was established following the rebellion.
Of 1967.
1967. Community leaders were looking at social problems and how they could be addressed. Homes for Black Children was developed to address the overrepresentation of African American children in the child welfare system. There were 3 other Black agencies that were developed at that time, all of which have subsequently been closed. Our mission was to find families within the community that were willing to go through the formal adoption process. As you know, Black families have always adopted informally. We always care for children that were not born to us. But the system that was in place really didn't address their needs. It wasn't welcoming. It didn't take their particular circumstances into consideration. So our agency was developed to address the specific needs of the children who were waiting to be adopted. In our first year of adoption, we placed more children than all 13 other agencies combined. After that, the social work community said, well, what's going on with these people? How can we look at what they're doing and how can we
So you became a model.
We became a model. And our model has been adopted by the state of Michigan, by the United States government. We've had visits from as far away as England, Jamaica, studying how it can be done. So we've served as the national model. We are part of the permanent record of the congressional record. In 2008, I received an award from the federal government as an angel in adoption, and that's this pin that I have.
That's what
here.
you're wearing on the show today.
This, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it amazes me. So this is the history, incredible history here.
54 years. 54 years.
So more than a golden jubilee. 4 years on top of 50. Remarkable. But you came around. Your inception was necessitated because of the '67 race riot rebellion in Detroit. Looking at 50 years ago where you were and where you are now, reflections on that though, what do you see today for Homes for Black Children?
Well, I think the struggle still remains because even today, African American children represent the largest segment of children in the child welfare system. So in addition to our adoption services, we have developed a concept that was also adapted nationally that's called family preservation. We are looking to keep children in their homes with their families, providing them with whatever supports they need to maintain the kids. When African American children come into the child welfare system, they are the least likely to receive services or counseling or drug abuse treatment, whatever it is that they need to sustain the children within our family. So our agency is very much committed to the children who are in foster care, seeing if it is possible to maintain those children safely within their homes. When that isn't possible, then our next goal would be family members. What family members can come forth? And we have a unique advantage in that we are identifiably a Black agency. So therefore, the community has a certain level of trust with us that it may not have with other agencies.
Yeah, you're fulfilling a niche.
Right. We've been asked from time to time, change your name, it sounds racist, and we've resisted that because our name speaks to the people that we want to serve. It brings to us the people that we want to serve. If it is not possible to find family members, then we seek adoption services in the broader community.
That's interesting, though. On the name, it has both historical and cultural resonance.
Yes, it does.
And it informs what you do.
It does. We were located downtown for quite some time. We had to downsize. But before that happened, we would have people, the last incident is that we had rocks thrown through our window. So it's like, you know, people don't get it. They think that we're, you know, isolationists or something, but that's not the case.
It's remarkable hearing you tell the story. Before I get into the issues with the state of Michigan, Department of Health and Human Services, let's talk about just the adoption crisis nationally here, and what do you think it will take to address some of the crises that the adoption system has been facing, and black kids that you said are overrepresented in the system.
Yeah, I think it has to start earlier than that.
Right.
I think there needs to be prevention services for families to really address some of their needs prior to it becoming an issue of a child having to be removed from their home.
Right.
The state is reinvesting money in prevention services, but that doesn't really address the backlog of kids who are in the system.
That are waiting to be placed in a home.
Yeah, family members are, in my opinion, always the best resource. We have children now who have had wonderful, perfect adoptions with non-relatives, but they come back to us always with that curiosity about who I am, who am I, where is my family, where did I come from?
Good questions of identity.
Yes, so it really is, I think, a good idea to focus on keeping children within their family, within their community, and that's not always possible. That's not possible for every child or every family.
Right.
But I do believe that that should be the focus of services for children.
Talk about the state. Let's go into the state of Michigan, the Department of Health and Human Services. When you were informed that they were going to pull your license after serving this city for more than 5 decades.
I was shocked. I was totally shocked. Not that I didn't realize that we had problems and that they were concerned about our problems,
right.
But I felt that we were working towards a resolution of our problems, and that through the corrective action plan that we had developed around our finances, we had made great progress. So I mean,
you're using words like corrective action. These are accountability terminologies for fiscal integrity.
Yes, and which is important.
Right.
You know, those things are important. But we were relicensed in January of this year, full license review. We were given a regular license, which indicates that we have no risk of, child maltreatment, that our services, we're delivering the services that...
Without abuse and all of the other red flags.
So I was just like totally shocked that we were in a position of being considered for revocation. It's very unusual for an agency to go from a regular license all the way to a revocation.
Right away.
Usually there's steps. They're like, you get a provisional, you get a second provisional. Other agencies now operate on provisional licenses, a third provisional. Our agency in our history has only had one provisional license, and that I can't even tell you how long ago that was. So I was just astounded, and so then I began to reach out to people who love the agency, who knew the work of the agency, to see what could be done to stop the revocation. We were successful in that our community supporters reached the governor's office, which she created a stay saying that the department would work with Homes for Black Children towards the resolution of the issues that were at hand. I'm still waiting to hear what that looks like, what that process looks like.
They've not told you what that process looks like?
No. So right now, I am reassured.
Now, are you reassured by word of mouth? Did they send a letter to you and say,
Well, they gave a firm written response to some of our supporters.
Okay, but
So-
they've not sent anything to you officially
No.
to say we're putting a stay on this impending closure
No, they have
until
not.
further review?
No, they have
So
not.
right now it's just a word of mouth from the governor's office with, ardent supporters of yours and those who love the agency.
Right.
And so there's really nothing guaranteed here.
Right, right. And that worries me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take me back to how the state came into looking at your finances and your work and how we got here.
Okay. We were trying to make it work. We,
Okay.
over the years, have had declining revenue.
Okay.
Similarly to historical Black colleges, we don't have
Yeah.
big donors. We
Right.
don't have big fundraisers. We
Yeah.
don't have that kind of support, but we have to have the same results.
Right.
Okay. So we had maybe 5 or 6 years of just declining revenue and a history of deficits. So we were late with some of our foster care payroll. One of our foster parents called the state, which initiated an investigation.
Okay.
When they came to the agency to do the investigation, they were very concerned about their findings.
Okay.
And they provided us with a report that we responded to about how we would correct their findings, which we did. This all happened, I think the review started in 2019. It was completed in 2021,
Okay.
the final report.
Okay.
Well, by that time, we had begun to change things and shore up our finances and our accounting principles so that we thought we were in compliance. So the report was generated in 2021. The corrective action plan was accepted. For 2021, we actually showed a $72,000 profit, which was also part of our projection in our corrective action plan. We were going to downsize. These are the steps that we were going to take. All of our foster parents were paid timely. They were paid on time, and that could be verified by the system that the state has of it's called MySACWIS, which is
Okay.
that's kind of a technical.
Yeah.
Our payroll was on time. So they began an investigation in January, following our regular license.
Okay.
After they licensed us, they started this
Okay.
investigation, which has gone on for like 10 months now. Their concern, as I understand it now, is that our liabilities exceed our assets, and they feel that's a potential risk. What I've asked them,
A risk for what?
they call it financial instability. That
But it's not like and I'm not trying to oversimplify things, but it's not like your assets are $2 billion.
right. So they're saying that our financial stability creates a risk for the children
Okay.
because we may or may not be able to provide the contracted services.
Okay. For the
That's,
kids.
yes, that's their concern.
Yeah. Let's hold on. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back with Jacqueline Moffett, the Executive Director for Homes for Black Children, here on Sunday Nation, talking to us about the state of Michigan's pulling out. For the moment, we don't know if they will close Homes for Black Children after this governor's race. But right now, the governor's office has has indicated that there is a stay to hold off on the closure, and we're not sure yet if, in fact, homes for black children is going to be shut down after the election. We'll be right back, more here on Sunday Nation. Stay with us.